Good morning, everybody. I hope you had a great day. Semi-retired Bob here. I talk about the carnivore diet and all things related to the carnivore diet. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about the food pyramid and what it's done to us. First, I know I sort of expected to be out at the park today, but I decided I didn't want to get too close to Thanksgiving, and I was getting a little low on food, so I put in a Walmart order and wasn't even thinking about it. You know, I could have gotten up a couple hours earlier, but I went into town. I had it scheduled for between 9 and 10. So I got back out here to the church about, it was 9:30 or so. Because the Walmart back home in Omaha, if you schedule it for 9 to 10, it's usually not ready till about 10 minutes to 10. But out here, hang on, there's a big truck coming. But the Walmart here, if you schedule it 9 to 10, I usually get the notification that it's ready about a quarter till. So they're much more on the ball. Now granted, Mount Olive is a lot smaller place than Omaha, but still. So I got back here and, you know, I had to cut up my 10-pound log of ground beef and get that in freezer bags. And then they had roasts were still on sale, so I got some roasts. I think I just got 2 roasts because I'd also picked up, they had a sale on them. They're still a little on the pricey side, but I've never had London broil before. I have no idea what it is. It looks like a big roast. But I got 2 of those, and they were on sale enough that, you know, the 2 roasts I got were both really close to 3 pounds. For one of them was like $9.20, and then there was $9.80, so both slightly less than $10. And I got the London broils were a little over 3 pounds each, and they were both right around the $10 mark. So I figure if I can keep my food at about $10 a day, and it's lower than that because the ground beef, I don't remember exactly what it was, 23, 24 bucks for 10 pounds. And I hadn't quite been finishing my full 2 pounds of ground beef. So I kind of figured it out and cut it into 6 pieces. So that's going to be, I'm no good at math. What's that work out to? About a pound and a half would be 6, 7, 8. So it's a little more than a pound and a half, but not quite a pound and 3/4, which should work out to be about right. So we shall see. You'll notice that the buses are in a different place. Because as I always do, when I'm in there doing something, whether it be washing some dishes or like this morning I was taking all my meat out of the packaging that it came in and putting it in freezer bags so it fit better in my freezer. As always, I when one of the gals came wandering through, I said, "Is there anything I can do for you today?" And they said, "Yeah, there is." So I'm going to stand here facing into the sun for just a second so you get a good picture before I spin the camera around. Tonight, it's Monday. It's our midweek service here at the church. Normally that's on Wednesday, but with Thanksgiving they moved it back to Monday. And they're setting up, they're going to have a big bonfire with a bunch of food, and then they're doing a little outdoor service. So I spent, after that, I set up all those chairs. There's the chairs for the choir, the podium the pastor's going to speak from, plus all the chairs. And there's some tables. I put some chairs out for the fire pit. So I got all this stuff set up. Myself and Brother Jorge, the Spanish pastor, worked on it. So I didn't actually do it all myself. But it was enough walking back and forth between the shed and the parking lot, plus carrying that stuff. I'm a little on the tired side today now. And as you can see, I've got my blue coat on. So it's still pretty cold out. But it's not super cold. It's in the mid-40s. But since I didn't go out to the trail, I just didn't feel like getting all my new layer stuff out and wearing that for just walking around the parking lot, because I figure if I get cold while I'm out here walking around, I can just duck back inside my heated trailer for a few minutes. But I'm going to come over here. They got the big thing the bonfire is going to be in is set up here. So I thought it was going to be up there closer, so I'm going to have to move those chairs to around this bonfire. And those tables, I set those up too. So it's actually, now the sun's right behind me now. It's actually about 1:30 in the afternoon. And this is the warmest part of the day. It's actually supposed to start dropping again here very soon. And it's supposed to be down into the high 30s by the time the service starts tonight. You know, when they schedule stuff like this, they can't really, you know, plan for the weather. So hopefully everybody that's coming out tonight can dress warmly, because even with the bonfire, it's going to be a little on the cold side. But I have a few people that I have to thank today. And I can't tell you how happy it is. How happy it makes me to have to thank people for donations in videos. Because even a small donation helps out so much. And it all adds up. Oh. But anyway, thank you, Janet, for donating to the channel. I really appreciate that. I hope you have a fantastic day. Barbara, hit me with a super thanks. Thank you very, very much. Those super thanks are awesome. If you wonder where to find the super thanks, underneath every video, there's like a heart with a $sign in the middle of it. So if I say something you really like, or I've helped you out a little bit, you don't have to. Again, I've said this so many times. You guys help me out just by watching my videos and putting up with a couple of ads. That's really all the thanks I need financially. Although the other thanks is nice too. I like, you know, who doesn't like a little bit of extra money? It's amazing the amount of stuff when you're on a fixed income, that if you get a couple people that kick $5 or $10 your way, how much more you can do that month. But yeah, I've actually started looking around to see what I can find for hiking trails that I could go do that are within about an hour's drive. I don't want to drive my truck too far until I get it completely fixed. But I figure if it completely breaks and I'm only an hour away, it won't be horribly expensive to get it towed into my friend's shop down here. It'll still be expensive, but not, you know, if I'm 5 or 6 hours away, that could be a $1,000 tow bill. And I certainly can't afford that. But David also hit a super thanks my way. Thank you very much, David. But let's talk about the food pyramid and what it's done to us here in this country. You know, the food pyramid came out in like 1977, and the updated version was, I think, 1980. Don't quote me on either of those numbers. It's somewhere in that time frame. Well, let's take a look at some of the side effects that have happened from the food pyramid. And this is not, you know, there is no direct evidence or scientific studies that the food pyramid and dietary guidelines put out by the FDA are the only cause of this. But let's take a look at a few of the things that have happened in that time. Ulcerative colitis, Crohn's disease, and cancer rates have all tripled in this country since the late 70s, early 80s. And you know, if there was just one thing that had gone up, I could buy the argument that it's something else. But when there's this many different things that all started rising at about the time the food pyramid came out, and they took the saturated fats out of our diet, the animal fats, and started adding, what in the heck? Hang on. There's some kind of a bug flying around my head there. But heart disease tripled. Strokes tripled. And let's, the big elephant in the room. Take a few seconds here and guess how much type 2 diabetes has gone up since the late 70s, early 80s. You got a number in mind? How about times 6? We obviously were not intended genetically to eat all that sugar. A cricket walking there. But yeah, that's crazy. Type 2 diabetes times 6. And the ages are getting younger and younger. You know, I've said this before in videos. You know, things like fatty liver used to just be called alcoholic fatty liver disease. Because nobody was eating 4 or 5 or 6 4 or 5 or 6 servings of fruit a day that are now basically just great big bags of sugar. And it's the fructose. They're not all fructose. There's fructose and glucose in fruits. But the fructose is handled exactly like alcohol in the liver. And if you got too much of that, the liver doesn't really know what to do with it. So it stores it as fat in your liver. And that's how you get fatty liver. And of course, it was starting in adults when they gave a second classification and called it non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. But the ages just keep getting younger and younger and younger. Which is why they're really starting to look into it and why they had to change, because it's like, how does this 15-year-old have fatty liver disease? We know they're not out there downing a bunch of alcohol. Well, think about it, especially if you got a kid playing on some sports team, you know, Little League. We're talking, you know, 6 to 12 years old. They don't actually do a lot of running up and down the field in those leagues. Well, they do, but it's not sustained or very organized. It's actually a lot of fun to watch kids try and play sports. But how many snacks do they feed them? You know, before the game, they get a snack. Oh, here, have a juice box and a cookie or a granola bar for some energy. And then during the game, more juice boxes, more cookies, crackers, energy bars, granola bars. And they're just stuffing this stuff into the kids. And then we wonder why not only are kids getting fatter and fatter, but they're developing diseases they shouldn't have, ever. Or at least not until, you know, when you get to be my age, you sort of expect a little bit of that stuff. But not in kids. Come on now. And the more I look at things, you know, reading papers and looking at studies, and now that the information is really coming to light about the Harvard studies that basically demonized saturated fat and called sugar safe, were bought and paid for by the sugar industry. So, you know, how do we even trust some of the research that's out there? Makes it kind of hard. I'm switching the camera back and forth between hands a little more today because I picked up all those chairs and moved them a couple of times because I had them set too far back at one point, and Miss Amanda wanted them moved further out in the parking lot. So I had to readjust it all by about another 20 feet. But besides doing all that, my grip strength trainers came in, and I used them last night. So my hands are a little tired today, but you know, in a couple of weeks, hopefully my hands will be just enough stronger that I can hold this selfie stick without even noticing I'm holding it. And then a few weeks after that, perhaps I can get my big camera out. I'm not going to push it super hard because what I've been doing is okay, it's working, but there are a few things, a few places that I would like to get stronger. And my hands and forearms are heavily involved in the in holding stuff like this camera. I know it looks really pretty out today, but it's still pretty cold out here. It's supposed to start warming up. I mean, like last night it got down to like 24 degrees, which is really cold for down here. But it's only supposed to get down to about 35 tonight, which is quite a bit warmer. And then for the rest of the week, although they're calling for rain later in the week, they're also saying, you know, overnight lows in the mid-40s, which, hang on, I got to duck under this bus again. I pulled this bus up here and got it as close as I could so people won't try to sneak around, because I don't want them to drive around the way they normally do and then run over people that are out here standing around in the parking lot. And I figured one bus here, since the wind's coming from that way, if the wind kicks up at all, that bus might help block the wind a little bit too. So we'll see. But I want to work on with my hand thingies, and I noticed that they work my forearms as well. And then I had somebody ask in the comments if I was going to do, you know, some other exercises beside walking, like push-ups or chin-ups or any of that kind of stuff. And I can tell you, I probably haven't done a chin-up since about the 8th grade. Well, we did some in the Army, but that was, I've kind of blocked that out of my memory. Did a lot of push-ups in the Army, but I tried to do some push-ups again just to see if my shoulders were getting better, and My shoulders are getting better. I can do a few push-ups, but they're not great push-ups. They're not correct in form. And I only get, before I could barely do 1 or 2 before my shoulders started to hurt. And now I can do about 10 before my shoulders start to hurt. So my shoulder joints aren't quite ready to do that yet. So I've been, I guess it's called planking. We always just called it holding in the push-up ready position. And I hold that for about a 10 count. And then I drop down, not a lot, just enough so that my elbows start to bend a little bit. And that engages a few different muscles. Then I hold that for about a 10 count. And then push back up. And I do that 3 or 4 times. So I'm slowly adding some more stuff in. I do have a few more thoughts. And I got to start getting ready for church. So it's going to be a short section. But I do want to go ahead and cue the music. Okay, cut the music. Thank you. I'm going to walk on out here and take advantage of these chairs. So I can sit here and talk to you for just a few more moments. Oh! My back is getting better, but I had to cut the walk there. I may try and get some more walking in this evening after church around the parking lot. You'll see all that up in the notes at some point. But, you know, I may have retweaked my back when I almost fell and had to catch myself on that tree. I don't know. It didn't hurt at the time, but since that time I've been having a little trouble with my back. It is better. But after moving all these chairs into place twice, and the metal chairs and the tables, and then that walking that I just did, my back's a little tired now. My legs feel fine. The rest of me feels fine, but my back is a little tired. So we're going to call it here for the day on the walking part. So, what should our food pyramid really look like? Well, in the big bottom section, ruminant meat. Cows, sheep, goats, deer, elk, whatever ruminant meat is in your area, that's what should be on the bottom. Next step up, be pork and seafood. You know, bacon, pork roast, pork chops, all that stuff. Save your pork fat, your pork grease after you're done cooking, because you're going to want that later for the top part of the pyramid, which is poultry. You know, chicken, turkey, that kind of stuff. Duck's a little fattier, but you know, chicken and turkey just don't have a whole lot of fat. So cook them in the pork fat that you saved, and that'll add enough fat to those. You can fix, as we talked about in yesterday's video, you can fix 85% of your health issues just by eating the proper food. Now, there are still some things out there that the food is not going to fix, but before I spent any money on radical treatments for any strange disease, I would start with my diet. No matter how long you've been sick, no matter how many times they've said it's progressive, it's only going to get worse. At this point, are you really going to just lay there and slowly lose body parts or wither away until you die? Or are you ready to try something and say, what the heck have I got to lose? I'm going to just try it. I'm going to give it 30, 60, 90 days and see what happens, because I am not ready to die. And you need to tell yourself that every day. But there should be a video pop up over here linking to the entire October walking challenge, no coffee. Another video over here you've never seen before. Don't forget to get out there and be 1% better today, folks. Have a great day. I will see you tomorrow. Oh, quick note before I go. I just want to know, I'm looking at either Tuesdays or Thursdays for a regularly scheduled live stream, because I don't want to bump up against anybody else that I like. So let me know in the comments. I'll also put it up on a community post tomorrow after this video comes out, and we can all just vote for Tuesday or Thursday, and that's where we're going to go. I'm looking at starting after Thanksgiving. I may not start the last 4 or 5 days of November. I may wait till December to start. But either way, let me know if Tuesdays or Thursdays are better than you, because I don't want to go on Monday, because Keto Chow and Two Crazy Ketos both released a bunch of stuff on Monday, and Wednesday's church day, so that kind of squeezes me for time. And Friday, of course, you know, you got Hungry Heath and you've got Ready Set Keto. If Friday for an hour before Ready Set Keto goes live would work best, I could do that as well. Just let me know what you think down in the comments. I'll talk to you later, guys. Have a great day.